Jodi Arias in chains. How did she manage to assault a fellow inmate? We'll tell you. Good evening, everybody. My co-host is attorney and SiriusXM radio host Jenny Hutt. Coming up, just released transcripts from the private courtroom conversations in the Jodi Arias trial. Very shocking. Get this, they focus on me and this program. Yes, that's what they're talking about behind the scenes. Yeah, Jenny, shocking. And our jurors. Don't forget Katie and Stacy. They're brought up too, not specifically, but you'll see. Why did Jodi Arias wear shackles and a stun belt when she was in court? We now know why. We will tell you that. Plus, we'll tell you why we at Dr. Drew on Call were brought up in chambers during the trial. How did a shackled Jodi Arias attack a fellow inmate? We're going to tell you about that. And later, the Dr. Drew cast members here, some of the theatrics, reenacting more of the private conversations from Jodi's trial. Back with my co-host Jenny Hutt and the Dr. Drew on-call players, Anahita Sadagatfar, Mark Eiglarsh, and Darren Kavanoki. But first, Jodi and her team promised she would be a model prisoner if the jury would just let her live. Take a look at this.
Let's talk about some of the good things about Jodi. Things that show that she has value still.
If I'm sentenced to life, I will live among the general population. Over the years I've spent in incarceration, I've received many requests from women to teach them Spanish or American Sign Language.
Ryan told you that when she would come to these PPL meetings and these Super Saturday meetings, that these people enjoyed her, that she got along well with people.
9 days out of 10, I don't like Jodi Arias, but that doesn't matter.
And Jodi wore a stun belt in court. Her feet were shackled when she wasn't in the courtroom. Now, we might, in fact, know why. Journalist Shanna Hogan is author of about-to-be-published book, Picture Perfect, about Jodi. Shanna, why was Jodi in chains and a stun belt?
Right, Dr. Drew. We're learning now that the sheriff wanted her shackled because he actually thought Jodi was a flight risk. He cites in his assessment of that her jailhouse rap sheet, which was an 11-page document that included these infractions she committed while behind bars, which ranged from things like hiding pens to really aggressive behavior.
Now, I have those reports right here in my hand, Shanna. I've got them right here. This is really fascinating. They're very institutional kinds of report of misconduct, and then there's further actions taken by the judges who review these documents. And yeah, she's doing all kinds of squirrely things. Is that what they're talking about, Shanna?
Absolutely. In 2009, she was in her cell and her back was pushed against the wall, and a guard saw her kicking one of her cellmates. And then the next year, in 2010, the guards noticed that there were a screw missing from a light fixture, and when they searched her cell, they found it underneath the toilet seat with several empty bags and some mysterious brown powder. She also had pictures that were unauthorized, pens that were not allowed in jail, and mail belonging to some of the other inmates.
And what I love, Shanna, in every single one of these reports, again, these are formal reports of misconduct. One of them particularly, they told her to, over the loudspeaker, told her to sit down and stop talking. She kept right on going. But in every single report, she blamed other inmates. It's classic Jodi, right?
Absolutely. It's very characteristic of her past behavior of never accepting responsibility.
All right, thank you, Shanna. Next, now I'm wondering this. Should Jodi's spotty record be considered by the judge or jury when it comes to sentencing? Anahita, I'll start with you.
I don't think so, Dr. Drew. I mean, 5 years in prison. These aren't like the worst infractions possible. Hiding pens. I mean, Jodi was probably having TV camera withdrawals because there's no cameras in jail. She was probably doing this for attention, or who knows, maybe stealing pens so she could do more of her Picasso-esque wonderful paintings to sell on eBay, or should I say tracings? You know, I don't think it should come in. At the end of the day, they're not the worst infractions possible. 5 years in jail.
I get you, and I thought the same thing myself. But then Darren, we have Wilmot out there saying, oh, she's a model citizen. Everybody loves her. She's so great. I think if you're the guards or the administrator, she ain't so great.
Yeah, she clearly doesn't play well with others. And I think I join the rest of the panel that not terribly shocked by it. They don't seem like the worst transgressions, but they become more important if the defense team is going to make the argument that she deserves to live because of this good behavior that she demonstrates while in custody.
Now, Mark, before you break into your Juan Martinez, I'll let you have the last word on this.
Yeah, I think that the judge should consider him. I don't think the judge should give it such great weight, especially, again, keep in mind that the future of the cure for cancer lies in her hands based on her speech.
Right, that's right. I forgot that. You're right. And Wilmot seemed to echo those same kinds of sentiments. Interesting. All right, enough of that.
Right.
It is time for serious business of another edition of Dr. Drew's Theater. My cast is going to reenact a segment of the secret closed-door hearings about the defense. In which case, this is a hearing with the judge between Wilmot and Nurmi and Martinez and the judge. The defense is wanting to portray Travis Alexander as a pedophile. Tonight, as the judge, Anahita, Darren is Nurmi, and Mark, as I said, Martinez. Mr. Martinez.
Well, wait, Dr. Drew, I do object. I feel like I'm being typecast with this Nurmi thing, and I've gotten a lot of hateful tweets.
Don't
I just
worry.
want people to distinguish that.
I'm going to pick up the crucible next. Don't worry. Let's just get on with this. Yeah. Go ahead, Mr. Martinez.
I don't start.
Oh, no, it's the judge.
Oh, the judge. I beg your pardon.
I see Martinez starting, but okay.
Well, no, it says Martinez starts. Go, I'm hearing him. We've already screwed this up, guys.
Dr. Drew, I can be Martinez. I don't mind.
It's good that you guys are attorneys and not actually actors. All right, we're starting at the hearing.
I don't have any Martinez starting.
Where is
I have the first line, the next issue, and it's the judge.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
the
I'll
judge.
start.
Right, that's what I have, Darren.
Okay. The issue still relates to the observation that your client made of the victim with the photographs of the young boys.
Wait a second. So here's your line, Anahita. The next issue, you are going to have your expert testify regarding 2 issues, to which I replied, 2 issues regarding the pedophilia. I don't know what you mean by the other issue.
I have a different script here.
You must have the one where I play Nurmi. Somebody from producing needs to help sort us out here.
Yeah, I can do an interpretive reading of the judge and Nurmi. So
I'm about to do an interpretive dance. You guys are so bad.
Dr. Drew.
Jenny.
I'm prepared to do our scene.
I am too. So what we'll do.
Let's go.
Well, hang on. We're going to take a little break. And what you're supposed to have heard was a closed-door argument over Travis's alleged pedophilia. And the fact is, I want the Behavior Bureau to weigh in on that because it's disturbing when you hear how they were portraying Travis behind closed doors. I'll have to figure out how we're going to give you that information because my cast reminds me of that.
I got it.
It reminds me of the SNL skit where all the cast members had Alzheimer's. I'm just saying. So next up, how worried were Jodi's attorney about my jurors? You're going to hear that. You're going to hear what Kirk Nurmi said about our program. I will be Nurmi. We'll be back after this.
Remember the first time that you and I grinded? I ended up just and you're like, whoa, I at the same time. I looked around and there's just like all over. It was so hot.
This last time, though, I didn't even notice it.
I know. I've done that once or twice too. Where it's like, oh, I missed the flying. It's kind of the signature landmark. Have you seen Iron Man?
I'm not a huge fan of superhero movies, honestly. I'm actually not a big fan of Spider-Man.
I like the storyline, but I don't like sitting through all the movie.
Back with my co-host Jenny Hudd and our cast of reenactors. You guys, we have regrouped and we have your scripts in hand now. Jenny and I have ours. We're ready. We're going to do our piece, and we'll have you guys give the information on the next segment. But I want to give you the reviews are in, a tweet that came through. By the way, my Twitterverse is ever vigilant, reminding me that things are called tweets and not Twitters. Thank you guys for doing that. Most of our Twitter handles are up there. Oops, that was an epic fail. Had my popcorn ready and all for the theater. First, initial reviews.
We're ready to go, man.
We'll get another crack at
We
this.
get a retake, Dr. Drew. We get a retake.
We will. Don't worry. I'm going to give you that. But first, Jenny and I are going to have a reenactment of the private hearings in the judge's chambers. We're going to play this one out. I will play the part of the attorney who threw me and my staff under the bus, Kirk Nurmi. Jenny Hutt will be Judge Stevens. Jenny, you ready for this?
I am.
Okay, thank you. Let's do this some justice. Here we go. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of stunning. I was stunned when I heard this, frankly. All right, Kirk Nurmi, here I am. Last night in watching one of these shows, it came to my attention that a couple of people that are coming as members of the public are really acting as media. They're being public and they're going on as Dr. Drew's jurors. They're watching the trial and they're reporting as quote unquote Dr. Drew's jurors. I'm concerned that digital recording devices may be being employed to tape what's going on, and obviously one could be left behind. He's getting paranoid. When we play a tape, it goes over the speakers, and a digital recorder placed somewhere outside of the view of security could easily be recording what's going on. I am just concerned for Miss Arias' rights, not wanting to get a mistrial here. Not much. Judge?
I believe that there are 3 full-time security people in plain clothes stationed in the courtroom looking for anyone recording, taking photographs, and properly using their cell phones, so I don't think there should be an issue.
All right. I just thought that was stunning that he brought that up and he insisted that we were somehow recording. Now, I want to be really clear about something. We kid around. We don't kid around when it comes to the justice system. No. The guest who served as my quote-unquote jurors were never serving as media on our behalf, nor were they recording anything. They were just giving, as members of the public, their observations about what they saw. Mark, thoughts?
Well, you know, it's his job to raise any potential issues. He wants to make sure that if she's convicted, she potentially has a record so she could use that and get a new trial. Don't kill the messenger. That's him doing his job. It's his job to be paranoid.
Anahita?
I absolutely agree with Mark. I mean, this is a capital case, and the attorneys do need to raise every possible issue to make a record for appeal or to, you know, further requests for mistrial. But, I mean, Dr. Drew, you're famous now. The judge knows you. People in Arizona know you.
Fantastic.
So
it's what I've always wanted.
He was famous way before that.
Darren, your thoughts?
He's more famous now. He's more famous now.
Here's my final thought. 1, you are quite famous, Dr. Drew. And 2, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. And I think Nurmi might have been onto something, although I don't buy for a second that he didn't want a mistrial. He would have loved a mistrial. Come on. Things were not going his way.
Jenny, finish it up here.
No, I agree. I was just thinking the whole time that you arrived. That's all I was thinking.
I finally arrived. Thank you.
I was proud of you.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I'm going to take a break. How about that? To me, I was stunned. Not in a good way. I thought, really, we can't like report on these things without being dragged into it.
No, I get it. I get what they were saying. Look, to Nurmi, what if an actual juror was going and then coming and being on the show, or what if these people were recording?
I get it. He was doing his job. Still seems paranoid to me. Up next, now, finally, after this intermission, you will get the dramatic conclusion, well, actually was supposed to be the introduction that you missed 10 minutes ago. Back with my co-host Jenny Hutt, Anahita Sadegapfar, Mark Eiglarsh, Darren Kavinoki are our cast. It is time for another of our theater reenactments. My cast will reenact the secret closed-door hearings in which the defense wanted to portray Travis as a pedophile. Tonight as the judge, Anahita, Darren is Nurmi, Mark is Martinez. We have limited time. I want people to get a sense of what was going on behind closed doors there. Guys, don't let me down. Mark.
At the hearing involving the alleged pedophilia, Ms. Laviolette indicated that when she spoke to the defendant told her that Mr. Alexander was on the computer and that he was looking at this child porn. Officer Michael Melendez, I will call him to testify that he's gone through the computer and there's no child porn there. They have gone through every single disc in the house and there was no child porn that was found.
The issue still relates to the observation that your client made of the victim with the photographs of the young boys.
Ms. LaViolette will testify to that. To which I think there's some laughter now. Wait, what did I say?
Testifyonically.
Look, it's been a long day, and I knew what you meant, so we can address the issue with regard to the photographs of the boys from 10:30 to noon.
There's no photographs.
I know there are no photographs, but the issue, you wanted your client to testify about what she observed.
But aside from the great performance, the theater of the absurd is what was going on Jodi's defense. Yes, thank you, Mark. I think that's about how good the defense was of trying to drag poor Travis through the mud. Let's all remind ourselves, no evidence of anything anywhere. There's not an expert on the earth that would say this guy was a pedophile.
Correct.
He saw him with a magazine that fell open. Forget it. Thank you, guys.